Hi, my name is Damien Hedgebeth, and I make movies.
So this will be fun to piece together. Leroy, Damien, whoever's doing it.
And I am going to make a feature film. This feature film is called The Scorching Phantasm.
Jeez.
And it is a science fiction adventure film.
I spat it out. I did the exact opposite. Sorry.
Low budget.
This is cracked open, right?
Yeah. Just make sure you don't show the label. Else we'll get sued.
Now, how low budget, you may ask? Well, I'm only asking for $5,000.
When you're ready, go.
Hello, stranger.
I know, it sounds crazy, but I wholeheartedly believe that I can make a science fiction film low budget. For $5,000.
Chase after me and
But I'm going to need some help from you. Yes, you, the humble Kickstarter donators. And
Quand je vous aimerai, ma foi, je ne sais pas, peut-être jamais, peut-être demain, mais pas aujourd'hui, c'est certain. L'amore un oiseau rebelle que nous n'est plus apprivoiseur. Il est bien notre appel, s'il lui convient de refuser. Rien n'y fait, mon oiseau privé.
So early on I tried doing Kickstarter and Indiegogo, stuff like that, and it just didn't pan out at all, you know. I made some videos.
Now this is Ridicon. It is an experimental substance that we believe will calm a soldier's nerves during combat.
Eat it. Eat it. Eat it.
Need it!
So what's your cog in this whole mayhem machine, Walter?
Long live Sorcher!
What happened? Where's my ship? Oh yeah, the damn spy. If I crash landed here, then where's the wreckage? I couldn't have been thrown that far. Wait, there's no damage on my helmet. Maybe I ejected at the last minute and flew all this distance? I have to see if the crew is still alive. I know why you're here. You're here to capture me and take me back to the United States to be tried? Well, that's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, so Marlon was the other, at least, I'm told his name was Marlon. I met him once. And that was during the reading when like 3 other people were also in the cast and were never used ever again. And we all met at the table reading, and I was thinking, because I had seen the trailer before, for the Scorching Phantasm, with him in it, and I thought he fit the role, and he was at the table read, and I was like, okay, so he could get him to act in this movie. Okay. 2 things. Why am I here? Why is he here? Is he another character? Or are we switching somehow in the movie? I don't know. But I was like, surely Damien told him that I was Robert Turner, because that's who I was told I was playing. And then he started reading for Robert's lines, and I was like, well, shit. So that was a very awkward table read. And it was also a bummer, because he would have made a much better Robert for the movie than I think I ever would. So.
Well, when Marlon first came in, and I met him, and he came in there, I told the director, I said, he's got to be Robert Turner. He's got to play the main role. He's got to play this. He's got to play the starring role, because he had acting skills. He was kind of buffed. He fit the part, even though he was black. I mean, that doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, he fit the part. It didn't matter what. If he was purple or orange or fat or skinny, he fit the part perfectly. But the problem, I think, is when we went out and we shot the trailer, we shot some footage outside, actually, surprisingly, for the trailer. Went out to like an area way out in BFE somewhere, out in the sticks, and filmed some scenes with him. And he just didn't. It's something about the way he walked and the way he looked in the costume and the clothes, because maybe it was because the clothes were light colored. It didn't fit him very well. He didn't fit the part after we got him into the costume and everything. Action.
So he came to the auditions. I had never imagined Robert Turner to be any kind of person. I never really had anybody in mind. He was just a blank face with the helmet and the uniform. He came, and I thought, yeah, Robert Turner can be a black guy. It's such a easily accessible name. Anybody could be Robert Turner. It could be an Asian. It could be literally anybody. But he came. He was a really strong audition. We were going to shoot a trailer, and he came to that. And and we just thought, somebody had mentioned that we were shooting the trailer, he had a certain kind of walk that wasn't really militaristic, wasn't really very convincing of an army person. And Marlon's got stage combat, he's got all that kind of training. He's a fine actor. But just because of that offhanded remark, I thought, how could somebody with such a dainty walk be Robert Turner? And literally only because of that reason was he not Robert Turner in the film, and we replaced him with Tanner. Was the right choice. Again, I can't make that decision. I can't tell you if that's the right choice or not. But I always wonder what could have been if Marlon was Robert. The audition process for the film was very small. There was auditions. We had one set of auditions, I believe. No, two sets of auditions. One was at night. There was also a set of auditions on a weekend that's where we got Tony Marsh. And all the other characters mostly were just people I knew, classmates, friends, involved in acting. So I asked them if they would kindly be in the film. They were into it. I mean, I did audition them, as in I let them do script reading, and I'll see how I like it. And they did. That's why I chose them. And desperation, to be honest. I was pretty desperate to cast. I really would have chosen anybody that had a pulse and was halfway decent at acting. That's unfortunate, but that's what you do when you're really desperate to make a film. You know, you cut corners, you rush things through, make mistakes.
Hi, I'm Tanner Metz, and I played Robert Turner.
You think you can just kill us like this? You think you can just kill us like this? You think you could just smile and nod, don't you?
Who is Robert Turner? Well, he's the pilot, that's what I know, of the USS Orca, right? Yeah, it's been a long time since I played Robert Turner. Robert Turner was a lot of lines to memorize at a time when I didn't really know how to memorize lines that fast, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, that's who Robert Turner was to me. Well,
Who is Robert Turner as a character?
he is the pilot and lead of Scorching Phantasm. Please cut all the other stuff out.
Next question.
My name is Michael Hall. I played the little lizard guy. I think it was Illick.
We are in the middle of a desert.
Illick's kind of like a Yoda type character. The main character's lost in the desert and he finds this little lizard guy who kind of just puts him back on the right path.
My name's Jonathan Milby, and I played Adam Scientist in the Scorching Phantasm. Well, I've studied some meteorites and asteroids. So, Adam Scientist, the best way to describe him is, at the most simplest form, he is a drug addict. At the most complex form, he's a man who figures out the dilemma of that stuff, the Ridicon, which is in the movie. I don't want to spoil the movie because maybe you haven't seen it, but in the movie there's Ridicon, which is a drug, and Adam Scientist, being a drug addict, gets hooked on this this form of like an adrenaline type of thing. So throughout the movie he's using it, and he kind of has an enlightenment moment, I guess, using it. So he's an odd character.
I don't remember, man. Alright, my name is AJ LaPointe, and I played General O'Connor. This is Verenium Encarte, the most dangerous drug... Oh. He was a fine general, I suppose.
My name is Bryce Erickson. I played Zanzibar, the Space Wizard, as well as I was the boom operator. Keep it in your pants, Tanner.
It just looks so funny because it's just the outfit, especially in this, because it's warping that way. It's just going. Gotta look like a cartoon character.
Go.
Okay.
Kind of what came to my mind as I was told about him is the Space Wizard part, as well as a big delusion to really help guide Tucker's way a little bit and make sure he kind of like starts to learn going crazy.
I'm Juliana Nasser, and I played Claire.
Talking. I'm talking. I'm talking. I'm talking. I'm talking.
She's a woman of divine species. She's quiet. She sits there and does her job.
My name is James Hall, and I looked at the camera, but I guess that's not important.
It doesn't matter.
My name is James Hall, and in the Scorching Phantasm, I was only on the set for like 2 days, but I did a couple of things. I operated the boom pole, helped people get into character, held places, stuff like that, you know. Just helped around. Nothing really major, but it was fun. It was definitely fun.
Leroy Hedgepeth. What else do you want to know?
Your role in the production of the film.
Producer, cameraman, director of photography, tons of different things. I did like 90% of the movie.
The costumes for the film, especially Robert Turner's, I based on an old 1950s television program. It was called Captain Video, and in Captain Video, the characters wear the same sort of costume, where it's beige, uniform, and then they would have these bulky helmets that look sort of out of place, but it's very sci-fi looking. Very low budget, of course, but that's what we were. So if you're gonna steal, steal from the best, I suppose. And I like to always say that in Hollywood there's no such thing as stealing. Everybody borrows from everybody else. There is nothing original in Hollywood.
I have a beard for a very specific reason, and that is because I have no jawline. Damien decided to... Damien decided to give me that no jawline look, and also clothes that were 2 sizes too big in areas and like 1 size too small in others. And then there was the fucking helmet. Oh my god. I could not... You want to attribute my not being able to memorize lines to anything? It was the lack of circulation that happened in that helmet. So, yeah.
The mask. God damn that mask. Apparently I have a light latex allergy, so that's why it was so irritating too. But it was funny finding out afterwards, because I was wearing the mask. I wasn't wearing anything. My twin brother didn't even recognize me when he watched that scene. That was a great little feeling there. That mask, man. What was it? The creature of the black goddamn lagoon.
I basically wore the same costume like from day one to the end. It was basically just a Dickies button-up shirt with a patch with my name on it, saying scientist, which is the last name of the character, which is kind of funny because he's a scientist. So it's kind of ironic. So I basically had that, and then some beige slacks to go with it. So it kind of looked like an engineer suit type of costume. So that's basically what I wore. And I had a satchel that had a little taser in it, which was for the Ridicotton. It was supposed to be used like Ridicotton. It actually was a taser, so it worked. So you could shock yourself with it. So we had that, and then like a little fake pistol, little P50, I think, or whatever it was. It was a small like James Bond gun. So that was the main stuff we had in our costume, and always sunglasses because it was very sunny out there on Folsom Lake.
The costume was well improvised. It was rather entertaining. It's kind of really works to give them the reflective mask to basically kind of keep any form of like him having a look just gone, just black figure, reflective face, so you can't actually see anything about him. The fact that it was middle of the summer, it was pretty hot, all black. It wasn't so bad, just because I'm personally prefer heat, but it was starting to get like pretty warm wearing like all the black.
Pretty baggy a bit on me. Little bit, but I feel like that helped me get into character of just of who Claire was and who she is. I like the patch with like the name on it. That was pretty cool. That's about it. I think I also had tap shoes, so but those are mine.
Well, as you can see, we're in a drought here in California. Actually, no, it was excruciatingly hot, super uncomfortable. A lot of those clothes were bought at Walmart and were very itchy, and I attribute that to just, Walmart not using nice fabrics. But yeah, it was hot, itchy, uncomfortable, and it was a trek to get out into what is now the middle of that lake. It was completely empty. It was deserted earlier. And oftentimes we'd be covered in fake blood, and that was no fun because it would be about a 5-minute walk back here to, rinse off what was now dried blood on my freshly shaved face because I had to shave every day for that fresh Robert Turner look. So, yeah, it was very itchy, very uncomfortable.
I could talk a little bit about the filming. The filming conditions were They were intense because we had hot days and we were out basically. It was during the drought, so let's just put it that way. So it was during the drought, and we were at Folsom Lake, and we were on the part of the lake that basically all the water receded from, and it was a desert. So it worked perfectly for the movie he was looking for, which was on a desert type of Martian planet. But it was very hot because it was in the middle of summer. But it was fun. It was definitely fun. It was just, yeah, it was hot. Very, very hot. But he kept us hydrated and made sure that we got food and stuff like that, so that was good.
The indoor air conditioning was great, but the heat was atrocious. I remember hearing complaints all the time about how hot it was and how it just wouldn't stop. I was barely in it, but for what I remember, I was like, nope, I'm leaving, I'm going to the car.
The first one was the fact that it was hot all the time out there. It was always over 100 degrees. Dry and hot. And there wasn't a lot of shade. The second thing is that every single time we had a good shot that we were filming and we had good sound, we had people riding their bicycles in the background across our shots. And ruining our shots lots of times. We had planes flying over constantly too, ruining our sound.
Set it. Go.
There are a lot of planes and bikes interrupting the shots, but I mean, if you had to count what took more shots, either my bad acting and terrible line memorization or something going into frame, I think I take the cake in that one, so.
That's you. It's what happened. Okay, I'm gonna get up.
Too bright.
I'm gonna do a better get up.
Pretty quick. The only issue we really had was planes. I remember him telling me about the fact that when he was filming the whole movie, in like the main time he was filming it, there was so many planes just everywhere. We even had to deal with that. We went out there for one day for like, I think it was at tops about half an hour to an hour of filming, so it was really not much at all. But we had like 2 or 3 planes actually fly over, and it was just super irritating just to get the right shot.
There were quite a few distractions while we were filming, especially considering the location was such a public place. You know, Folsom Lake, a lot of people go there. Even if there wasn't a lake, there was always bikes. There was always planes flying over. I mean, in retrospect, it probably was not a very good location at all. I would have preferred it just in the middle of nowhere, you know, like the deserts of Death Valley or something. But, you know, of course that's dangerous and it's a long distance, and with such a very tight budget, it's hard to arrange any sort of transportation way out there to the desert. And I mean, we made do with what we had, and I think it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, there was some obstacles that we had to go through. For instance, like if we went on a film day that was like maybe supposed to be only 2 hours, if we had like planes flying over, which there are a lot flying over Folsom. Those guys, those assholes own planes like people own hamsters. So they're flying over like, you know, every hour or so. We have to wait until they're completely gone and we can't hear them at all so that we can film. So it took us like maybe 4 hours, so it's like added on 2 hours just to like make sure the sound quality was good. Just like this guy back here with his leaf blower blowing his goddamn leaves. Hopefully that doesn't affect the quality of this video. So that's what we had to deal with.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, there was never really a budget for the film. It was just whatever money that we could scrape together and pull together and throw into the film was what we used. I mean, I did have projected outlines, you know, but of course those fell apart when I couldn't get any funding on any of the crowdfunding sites, Kickstarter, Indiegogo, none of that. None of that really panned out, so the budget went from $5,000 to, boy, I hope we can get through the week, you know. But we got through all of it, you know, very, I wouldn't say it was the, the budget, something like, I was trying to do calculations, but somewhere around almost $1,000 maybe for the whole thing.
In your opinion, what do you think the budget of the film was?
$500.
Does a can of Spam count? Because it really felt like there was like no budget to this thing.
The budget of the movie, I think, was probably, it was definitely under $1,000. I want to say like maybe $400 to $500 maybe.
The budget. I have no idea. It wasn't a lot.
I would probably put it somewhere into like a couple of thousands of dollars, because I don't know how much the equipment costs.
I mean, I don't want to like say too little. Maybe $1 million.
Not a whole lot. I have no idea. Maybe 100, 150 bucks.
But I don't know. It was experience for all of us, so $500 ain't bad.
With the newest cut of the film, the 2017 cut, with the added sandworm and that sort of thing, I decided, this is really close to what I had imagined it being, very good. So I wanted to do more. So I got a guy that wants to throw some money at me, and we're in talks to do around 6 new projects based on it.
I really hope that they cast the old Robert Turner. I think he'd be very great. And I wouldn't mind making cameo appearances just to fuck over the viewers, but yeah.
6 more films. You kidding me? Jeez. Now I have a question for him. Does he have time for that?
I feel like that's actually really, it's a nice, I don't want to say redemption, because there's nothing wrong. I mean, there's nothing bad about Scorching Phantasm. It just wasn't what he wanted, and I know he wants to make it better. So maybe this will be a good way to branch out off Scorching Phantasm and make the movie, maybe make parts of it that he could make all really good, and maybe focus on parts of Scorching that he wants to focus on more. So it sounds like he's got some movies lined up then, so.
What? That's awesome. I mean, it's a really cool idea. 6, man. Oh, man. I wonder how quickly he's gonna get them done.
6 more. Well, are they gonna be full length like Scorching Phantasm, or are they gonna be a little shorter? Because I feel like Scorching Phantasm could use a little bit of touch-ups before we jump into sequels.
All the problems that we had during the making of it, I could put all that aside and say that I had one of the most enjoyable experiences of my entire life making the film. It was just an absolute pleasure to work with all the different actors, to get to shoot on a location like that. Nobody really bothered us. Couple close calls with the park rangers, but they never really bothered us too much. They mostly didn't care. They probably thought we were students. It's probably what we would have told them if they would have asked. But yeah, no real problems. But I learned a lot working on B.A. Turner. But I think I learned even more working on Scorching Phantasm. It was just such a delight, to really, it's really like being thrown into a project, and really being there and experiencing everything for yourself. You could read about it in a book, but it doesn't have anywhere close to the same effect as actually being there and actually, being a part of it.